Link dia.
Okay, Facebook Live dah on. Okay.
Ramai ke international masuk ni? Ramai international?
Ya, ramai. Even that they are not from UTM, they will ask to join. Ya.
Okay. 2 hari lepas pun sama Prof, saya buat dekat dengan UKM. Ramai yang luar dari UKM.
Okay.
Bisa dah sekarang tak ada boundary.
By the way, you punya Facebook link tu bagi kat saya sebab apa tak boleh masuk lah.
Tak boleh masuk?
Nak bagi link?
Itu
Yang semalam tu.
ada yang baru tu. Bukan baru tu.
Share link
Ada 59 live dah ni audience. Nak campur sharing aja.
Okay, kita dah boleh start, Prof.
Dah boleh start? Prof, are you ready? Dah
Okay.
ready?
Apa nak share saya tu?
I share first, then your turn. Okay, let's start. A very good morning to our honorable panel, all the participants and fellow committees. Welcome and thank you for joining our online forum today with the topic Preparing for the Post-COVID-19 Looming Crisis of Graduate Unemployment. I'm Looming, the moderator for today. For your kind information, this forum is organized by Postgraduate Student Society of the School of Civil Engineering, PGSS-SKA, and School of Chemical and Energy Engineering, PGSS-SKE, with collaboration of UTM SPS, UTM EXAT, and UTM ILIC. Don't worry if your friends cannot join Cisco WebEx meeting due to its limited participation, but you can still join us by watching the Facebook Live in UTM ILIC Facebook account. You may get the link from our chat box now and share with your friends. Before we start, here are some reading etiquette and all the participants must follow. First, please remain muted throughout the event unless you are asked to unmute. Second, please do not speak. Q&A session is arranged after the presentation. If you have questions, please feel free to leave it in our chat box or leave your comment in our Facebook UTM ILIC Facebook Live. We will voice it out during the Q&A session. Bob, Registration starts from 11:30. You can find the link in our Webex chat box or the UTM Facebook comment there. 5. Please use the chat box appropriately to avoid the redundant messages. All the important links will be shared in the chat box. Last but not least, remember to complete the e-questionnaire at the end of our event. Your feedback is highly appreciated. Thank you for your cooperation. We will now begin our forum today. As we all know, the entire world is caught off guard by the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. This pandemic has downturned our lives and our economy as well. Due to the massive economic fallout, graduates are at the risk of graduating into a recession. So how should we, as UTM graduates, prepare ourselves at least an economic recession? What are the key factors that can be found in UTM to help us? To solve our doubts, we have two honorable panels today to give better insight to graduates on their preparation for post-COVID-19 booming crisis. Our first panel today is UTM Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic and International, Prof. IRTS Dr. Zainuddin Abdulmanan. As Deputy Vice Chancellor, Prof. Zain founded UTM Synergy 4.0 Transformation Program. He is also the founder for UTM Sustainable Energy Management System and a UTM spin-off company named Optimize. Besides being the Director of Postgrad Research Center, Prof. Zain is also the funding dean for UTM Faculty of Chemical and Energy Engineering. Currently, he is the Chair of Energy Efficiency and Conservation Act (ECCA) Federal Energy Drafting Committee under the Ministry of Energy, Science, Technology and Climate Change. With his professional knowledge and commitment, Prof. Zain gained a lot of professional memberships such as Professional Engineer, Asian Certified Energy Manager, Registered Electrical Energy Manager, Chartered Engineer, Fellow of Institution of Chemical Engineer from UK, Certified Professional Trainer under Human Resource Department, and last but not least, lead trainer for Asian Energy Managers Accreditation Scheme. Along his challenging journey, Prof. Zain won a lot of honors and awards. Some highlighted awards as shown, such as UTM Academic Quality Award, UTM Top Publication Award, UTM Excellence Award, 6-Star Quality, 6-Star Academic Quality Award, and 3-Star Amos Energy Management Gold Standard. In 2025, he won the Best UTM Flagship Research Project and again UTM Excellence Award. In 2014, he won both UTM Outstanding Researcher and Academician Award. Even in 2013, he won UTM Malaysia Top Research Scientist Award. Prof. Zain is a good writer as he won Highly Cited Paper Award in Web of Science and top ranking highest cited in Clean Partner Environmental Journal. The outstanding achievement of Prof. Zain is very inspiring. I hope Prof. Zain can share with us later his peaks of success. Without further ado, let us welcome our first panel today, Prof. IRTS Dr. Zainuddin Abdulmanan, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Academic and International, to present his point of view on key things to prepare for the looming crisis. Please welcome.
Thank you very much. Testing, Wen Chin and the rest of the members. Can you hear me? Okay?
Yeah, very clear.
Very clear. Thank you very much, Wen Chin, for the kind words. That was a speech in itself. It takes about a few minutes. I hope I won't take more than 10 minutes for my introductory address to the audience. Welcome, everybody from all over Malaysia, perhaps, and especially from the students of UTM. You are also, I guess, from all over Malaysia, because not many students left in the campus these days. So I'm very pleased to be able to have this stage to share with students on how we could help you with, and how UTM could be of assistance to everybody here. Let me try to share my slides here first. I'm waiting for the slides to come out. Yeah, well, let me try to focus my attention to the topic that I want to share today, which is about how in UTM we could work with you and allow you to leverage on the top 5 UTM-driven opportunities in adversity during this COVID-19. So, if you have been following some other talks about graduate employability, about job prospect, and so on and so forth, I will want to share with you that this is unique in the sense that you focus on what and how you could benefit from UTM to rise above what we call as the challenge of COVID-19, challenges, what we call as Race GE 2020, rising above COVID challenges for graduate employability 2020, for the year 2020. This is one of the articles that I published very recently in New Straits Times, in the Star, on March 14th, 2020, just before the PKP was announced on March 18th. The article says towards zero graduate unemployment. It may sound a bit far-fetched for many of us here because, wow, it's zero graduate unemployment. Are you serious, Prof. Zain? Really? How can we actually achieve the zero graduate unemployment? Before I share with you some of the things that we planned on doing or we have been doing, and we are going to unleash one initiative called Race GE 2020, Rising Above COVID Challenges for Graduate Employability 2020, I will share with you the achievement from our short initiative early this year, to achieve what we call as the historical graduate employability for UTM graduates, for postgraduate as well as undergraduate combined. So this is, we are very proud to have achieved this feat of 95.15% graduate employability, and we thought that that is not even half of our initiative because we did it within a couple of months or so to allow and to achieve this feat that was one of the highest in Malaysia and the highest in UTM history for sure, because in 2018, we managed to only achieve about 90% graduate employability just for undergraduate, and for postgraduate it was not that high. So we are quite upbeat. If we have worked with the students of UTM a lot earlier, then we might be able to achieve near 100%. But we now know that basically along the line of normal situation, there is also a very challenging situation now, which is COVID-19. So what we plan on doing towards zero graduate unemployment or a very high graduate unemployment, bearing in mind that we have COVID-19 challenges, are 5 things. I mentioned earlier, top 5 UTM-driven Race GE initiative towards zero graduate unemployment. So number 1 is for you, all graduates, to be part of UTM network. That is very, very important for all graduates to be part of UTM network. Why I'm saying this is because if you look at the statistics that I show you now, if you be part of UTM network, you will have altogether more than 30,000 partners together with you. You have iLeague with a network of 2,367 industry. We have UTMCC close to 1,000, UTM Excite close to 1,000, Community and Industry Center of UTM, about 1,200 and so on. Alumni, nearly 30,000, and globally we have a network with more than 1,000 universities across 70 countries. So what I'm saying, if you be part of UTM network, we will have not enough students to give jobs to. Not to say that we don't have enough jobs to give to students, but the other way around. Why? Because we will strive, as we have done before, for just over 2 months, we managed to achieve almost 90%, 95% graduate employability, but we have not unleashed or mobilized all the networks that we have. And that is also not to mention, we have also spin-off company within UTM. So with this vast network across the world, if you be part of UTM network, we will be able to help you, each one of you, hopefully to secure employment, be it as a person who get a paid salary, or you be an entrepreneur yourself. That's number one. Be part of UTM Global Network. What you need to do really to be part of UTM Global Network, as soon as you graduate or just before you graduate, you need to fill some forms, of course, to register that basically that this is the time that you are going out of UTM, you are graduating, and for us to ensure that you will fill in the form, we will attach to the form the certificate of graduation, because the convocation will be postponed till next year. But you need the certificate of graduation. Before you are allowed to have the certificate of graduation, you will have to fill in the tracer study form. Please, in your interest, to fill in the tracer study form, because that will give a particulars where you'll be contactable to UTM. There are 2 stages of the form. First is SKPG 1, then is SKPG 2. And then you have to register as an alumni of UTM, so that we will be contactable for the main reason that we will want to be in touch with you and help you. Without you registering, we can go on with our life, not a problem. But that is not the style of UTM. We want as much as possible for UTM students to be part of UTM, because we want to partner with you to prosper lives together with you, and eventually we want to help you. So this is another settings or another scenario of UTM Global Network, where I mentioned to you over 1,000 network of universities apart from industry across the world. So that is number one, be part of UTM Global Network. You must ensure that you register with UTM, you are traceable by UTM. Number 2, I mentioned there are 5 things. Number 2, let me try to mention to you about the next challenge apart from COVID-19. We all know that careers of the future, maybe you have read, many people that up to 85% of jobs that will exist in 2030 have not been invented yet. You don't know what the jobs are yet. Okay, if that is 85% in 2030, by the next year, there might be many jobs that have not been invented yet. I will say about up to 85%, because from now to next year, it's just 1 year away. Maybe about 10 to 20% jobs have not been invented yet. You might be the one to create the jobs. Graduates of UTM and graduates of other universities. This is a research done by Dell Technology. So what in that case would be the most vital 21st century skills that you need to ensure that you will have, in view of the fact that most of the jobs 5 years down the line are not being invented yet. Whether they are invented or not invented, then educators as well as job creators and job givers agree that the topmost skill that you need to have is actually the ability to learn throughout your life. yeah, the ability to seek knowledge. And the opportunity or ability to seek knowledge is cannot be more pronounced than this time during the COVID-19 crisis. Most of the time, when we learn online, it is about learning on our own. If we talk about asynchronous learning, it means that not live learning. You just give your assignment, lecturers give you assignment, and you have to learn on your own, not like this. So the thing is, when you do that, you are actually entering into real life learning. Because only during the first 2 or 3 years that you have to be intensely following your lecturers. And before that, you are intensely following your lecturers in high school. But after these few years of your life, you will forever be doing lifelong learning on your own flip style. What does it mean by flip style? It's exactly what you're doing now when you're doing online learning. It means that you look at the material, you try to comprehend it, you have try to understand it, you try to crack about the problems and try to solve them yourself. Yeah? After that, the teacher or the lecturer will facilitate you and will give you some assessment to suit your understanding. So most of the time, be it learning software, be it learning about how to solve certain problems with MATLAB software, simulation software, and so on. When you work, it is all about flip learning. Flip learning is learning on your own. So you have to be a voracious learning. Voracious means you must be very, very hungry in terms of learning. At UTM, we provide you endless opportunities. If you are voracious enough, if you are hungry enough, it means that you will be able to be a great learner, fast learner very soon, and you will be able to get a lot of opportunities very, very soon. Okay? Number 3, next one. The second one is to be a voracious learner. Number 3 is to have a global presence, or online presence. When you learn on your own, for example, on how to video edit, to put on your CV online, to register in LinkedIn, you should be able to enter the global world in terms of getting a job. Yeah, you cannot be dependent upon only a job in Malaysia or locally or within your locality. You have to be global, and being presence online globally will significantly give you advantage. You have to also join societies to be able to be global. Societies like HEP, Alewa Plaja, PGSS, and many professional societies, IEM, ASN, and so on. Yeah? You should be able to enter the global world. I personally have been joining a lot of societies and getting professional qualification
Harus suara dia harus
certification.
besar, kalau tak yang kat sini kecil juga.
You have to be learning about how to make video script of your own video resume apart from being enrolled in LinkedIn. You have to also try to learn yourself on how to make e-portfolio, and these are the things that UTM trains you to do during your early years and now as a senior students. The next one, yeah, you must be able to also share whatever knowledge that you learn. And to be globally visible, you try to share your best practices across the world, because this will give you a lot of global visibility as well. Yeah? For example, this is something that I will be sharing to a lot of people, and from this, you will have visibility, and a lot of headhunters and employers will be looking at you and looking to hire you. Number 4, second last point, is you have the opportunity in UTM to build practical experiences. To rise above COVID challenges, UTM will have a special program to allow you to have second industrial training, for example. And this is a real company, real industry that I've been working with during my consultancy days overseas, that we work on a project. So you will also have the opportunity within 30,000 UTM network across the world and within Malaysia, industry, university, and stakeholders, you'll be able to be attached to companies like this and doing what we call structured industrial training, for example, because if you go for second industrial training after you graduated, for example, you will have better opportunity to work with the company as an intern first, and it is in your interest to perform well and to connect with your supervisor, for example. Don't just go to industrial training without any project in mind. Work with your supervisor and try to solve a company problem. You may need to discuss a bit more in this kind of special industrial training, because by solving industrial problem and doing very well during your industrial training, you will be able to be sure to secure a job. These are examples of what we have done with our students, and most of these students, almost 100% of these students, get a job through their industrial training. And if you do not get a job yet after you graduate, it is in your interest to get back to us to get a job through your industrial training. And this is another example, sets of example, where students, undergraduate and postgraduates, to what we call as the UNIX programs, we are able to secure jobs for them. Why? Because industry are amazed by the way UTM work with them, because traditionally industrial training is industry give assignment to students or just teach students is one way. You will have an X factor or uniqueness that others might not have. So use all the opportunity, the 4 other things that I've mentioned to you. Bring your research to industry, publish it in LinkedIn, in your network, in video CV, and approach company, share it on FB Live, what you have done. Try to make commentaries, share with other people, and you tell me whether or not that is going to secure you a job. I think it will, and 100% of UTM students will be able to get a job with the top 5 UTM-driven initiatives. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof, for your impactful sharing.
Sorry, I've taken a lot longer than I was supposed to.
No. A friendly reminder to all the panels, since we have a volume problem, so we should speak louder to have a more clearer presentation. So now, I would like to invite our next panel today, Associate Prof. Dr. Ramesh KS at Muhammad Zaidi bin Abdul Rozan. Dr. Zaidi is a Director of UTM Student Innovation and Technology Entrepreneurship Center, UTM Excite. He had been a former manager of UTM Technology Entrepreneurship Center, UTM Tech, and the head of the department in his Faculty of Computing. In previous year, Dr. Zaidi was the graduate student teacher in the Ministry of Education Malaysia, as well as the director of Mishwan Network. Dr. Zaidi is very passionate in cross-fertilizing innovation and entrepreneurial mindset with computational thinking concept to design the formulation of problem and solution. With his passion, Dr. Zaidi earns a lot of professional qualifications such as Alibaba e-commerce trainer, Talent Train of Trainer 2018, HRDF Train, the trainer program, professional certification on entrepreneurship education by Ministry of Higher Education 2016, Master Trainer for Computational Thinking and Computer Science Teaching certification, and Wahadi Foundation National Entrepreneurship Network Entrepreneurship Educator Program. And he also is a certified Scrum Master and Microsoft Certified Technology Specialist. As you can see, Dr. Zaidi is very active in industrial programs where he collaborated with local and international organizations for entrepreneurial and computational thinking field. With his entrepreneurship and innovation, he won many awards, Some highlighted awards are the Best of the Best Excellent Awards and Champion Google Track Challenge in Innovate Malaysia Design Challenge 2018. He also was the first runner-up for the Best Entrepreneurship Mentor Award by Ministry of Higher Education, being mentor for several winners and finalists in 2016. In 2015, he won UTM Excellent Service Award and being the supervisor for the Pro-Chancellor Award Master Student. He is also the Dreamcatcher Scholarship winner and represent Malaysia for Entrepreneurship Education Faculty Program. Without further ado, let us welcome Associate Prof. Dr. Ramesh KS and Muhammad Zaidi bin Abdul Razan, Director of UTM Excite, to share with us how entrepreneurship mindset can prepare students for Looming process. Please welcome Dr. Zaidi.
Thank you very much, Wen Ching, for the introduction. As again, what mentioned by Prof. Zain it's a speech by itself. Okay, so let me share my slide. Okay, so I would like to share on the opportunity that we can acquire as students, particularly in entrepreneurship and innovation. Okay, without going directly to the point, let me just introduce you my center. Okay, my center is actually known as UTM Excite, or the full name is UTM Center for Student Innovation and Technology Entrepreneurship. So this center is actually a center where we have focus on development of innovative programs and entrepreneurship programs towards students' development. And for your information, we started in 2013 as a UTM Tech, UTM Technology Entrepreneurship Center. And in 2017, we were rebranded due to the merging with Center for Student Innovation. So now we are called as UTM Excite. So for your information, we are focusing very much on giving the infrastructure and facilities to inculcate entrepreneurial mindset and innovation. And also we provide programs, and we plan, execute, and also oversee programs. And not to forget, a lot of programs related to collaboration with internal and external parties. Okay? And because we have a lot of industry engagement, so there's a lot of opportunity for students to work together with different ideas in different fields so that they can get engaged with a lot of industry partners. And in also our core value, okay, is of course our mission and vision is focusing on innovative entrepreneurial learning. So it's like what Prof. Zain mentioned in number one. Okay, make sure you get into the network. So once you get into the UTM network, particularly in UTM iLeague network, you will be getting the network of UTM Excite. So our core values in our team is cohesiveness, patient, connect, and always limitless. Okay, before we go further, I would like to share a bit on our strategic funnel, just a bit. Okay, so that you get an overview of how UTM Excite actually plan and design their programs. Okay, firstly, our programs are focusing firstly to identify the general audience from not only students, we also identify lecturers, okay, and staff, and also external party from the 5A stream. So we have awareness, we have acquire, activate, accelerate, and attain. So the easier, very easy to understand is where we provide entrepreneurial learning. It's a little bit, sometimes people get confused between entrepreneurial and entrepreneur. Okay, so entrepreneurial is a mindset. So either you become an entrepreneur, come out with a startup, or not, you still need to be entrepreneurial. So like such as entrepreneurial engineers and entrepreneurial doctors, entrepreneurial teachers, and so on. That is what we are saying about entrepreneurial. So this strategic funnel is actually to show you how we actually identify the type of students, how do we acquire them, how we activate them, what kind of program, and up to the level they exit. So the exit is where, as mentioned by Prof. Zain just now, from the race GE is where we want to make sure zero unemployment. Okay. Okay, so a little bit overview, if you can see, just to give you more understanding of who we are. The more you understand about UTM Excite, that means the more you will be engaging with us. I believe in that, and then the more opportunity that we can actually offer to you. Okay, so if you see in 2019, we have a lot of programs. So those you can see like Nescafe. Nescafe is actually a startup organization run by student in UTM, Nescafe UTM. It's under the advisory and mentorship of UTM Excite. And even we have TEDx. If you see TEDx program is an inspirational talk. Also a program which is creating leadership towards public speaking. Okay, that one also being organized under the mentorship of UTM Excite. And we have very close working activities with US Embassy, with several programs. We are working closely with ISEC. Monsoon simulation is actually a program where we do online simulation software so that you can actually get a lot of understanding on how simulation works in business. And we have MDEC, PPRN, Startup Weekend, which were originally come out from Google Labs. Okay, we started since 2013, and we also work closely with MTDC. Okay, I don't know whether you are familiar with MTDC or not, but MTDC is one of the biggest funder for technologies. Okay, in Malaysia. Okay, so if you see our programs are vast. Okay, which covers curriculum based and non-curriculum based. So here I will show you one program which is actually a curriculum-based program, okay? And this is very surprising. Let me just share with you, okay? Just last semester, semester 1, 2019-2020, UTM Excite was involved to become a coordinator for digital commerce program. So we embed digital commerce in introduction to entrepreneurship courses. This introduction to entrepreneurship courses is compulsory for every undergraduate student, okay, in UTM, okay, and of course all the other universities in Malaysia also, for every undergraduate students, it's compulsory for them to take or to sit for this introduction to entrepreneurship. It may come in different name, okay. For UTM, just to share with you. So last semester we started to have a digital commerce program within the curriculum, and we train around actually 1,974 students with 22 lecturers as trainer, and the earnings from the sales was more than 500,000. This was only in one semester. Okay, so as what Prof. Zen mentioned, get yourself known online. So this is actually one of the program where we always inculcate to students, we tell students the importance of being present online, particularly in your business. Okay, so doing business online is actually a very high advantage compared to doing business offline due to many factors. Okay. So of course we don't cover a lot of capital. So in this case, you can see the impact. Okay. So just to give a big overview on the achievement. Last year during a dinner by MDEC, UTM was actually chosen as top 4 IHL, Institute of Higher Learning. Okay. So the other 3 Institute of Higher Learning has been doing digital commerce for more than 3 semesters, but we just had it for 1 semester, and we were actually chosen as one of the top 4. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but I was really proud with my team and with UTM students, where they managed to actually put themselves as top 4 of all the Institute of Higher Learning in Malaysia. Okay, so another one big program that we designed since the 3 semester ago was SAM's Sustainable Entrepreneurial Mindset Showcase. So this is a program where we identify the 17 Sustainable Development Goals from SDG, okay, because it's impacting to everyone all over the world. Okay, for your information, if you go for interview, you may be asked about Sustainable Development Goals. Okay, so here we equip our students to understand, not to just know what is SAMS, as what is SDG, but here they actually identify the problems and issues for particular SDG and come out with the business model of the idea and to develop prototype. So the whole range of identifying issues and problems from SDG, developing the idea, coming out with the business model, and development of a prototype for showcasing is actually one of the compulsory items of skill set that you must know to become a good entrepreneur or an entrepreneurial student. Okay, so for this semester, we will be having our SAMS 3.0 online, fully online. Okay, so the showcase will be done online, and the choice of a project will be mostly delivering through mobile application, but it depends on the different types of sustainable development goals that were being chosen by student. Okay, just sharing a bit, okay, on the fact and figures for 2019. These are actually facts and figures for 2019. So we actually engage with 21,916 students, UTM students, particularly in giving them exposure into entrepreneurship programs. And not to forget, I'm quite proud here because our UTM staff has the highest expertise in entrepreneurship, because due to a lot of entrepreneurship and innovative programs given, exposed and also trained to our staff. So all students, you are actually very lucky to be in UTM because we have a lot of very entrepreneurial and very innovative lecturers, okay? So ready to coach you. And then we also have 3,149 students involved with startup, where they register a company under the Business Commission of Malaysia. And we have students, 3,149 is students involved, and 428 students registered as in SSM, Business Commission Malaysia. And for graduates, we have around 201 graduates involved in entrepreneurship. The amount is not, if you see here, the amount is not, you can see it's not high. But if you look at the percentage that was shown by Prof. Zain just now, I think if I'm not mistaken, like 3.68%. The normal rate for entrepreneurship graduate is around 2 to 2.5% only. So we actually, just 2 days ago, I got a talk with UKM. So they mentioned that it goes up to nearly 3, but we actually touch 3.68. So Alhamdulillah. So we should be proud on that. Okay, so these are the programs that we run. We co-organize with partners, industry partner. We organize as a main organizer 11, and we actually also empower students to organize around three programs which run by students. And not to forget, we were given UTM actually were given the finals for best IHL institution, and UTM Excite were given an award as best ecosystem builder team by Magic. Okay, we were proud. We are very proud of that. Okay, so under UTM Excite, we have a lot of ongoing programs, and also focusing on several startups that we have currently running in our accelerator. So for your information, we have just recently we launched a coffee talk program. We call it it's actually conducted by Leaderpreneurship at UTM Excite. Here we develop leaders who are very entrepreneurial, and we request them to actually we give them ideas so that they can actually identify speakers among students. This is 100% empowered by students. Okay, stay tuned in UTM Facebook, UTM Excite Facebook, because you can actually see a lot of these programs currently running. And we also advise Koperasi Mahasiswa UTM, where they have several business running. One of the project which is running is actually mushroom. Okay, so for your information, the mushroom project we started before RMO. Okay, and just 2 weeks ago, it has been one of the biggest sales. Okay, due to the demand of mushroom, and we also have HF Robotics. Okay, one of our successful entrepreneur who is actually. For your information, as an entrepreneur, it was very challenging for them to work because due to the RMO, but they actually do a lot of digital talk show, and they become a lot of they become instantly famous, and a lot of demands on their services and products. And I think some of you or most of you remember UTM Shield, Face Shield project. Okay, so UTM Face Shield project, UTM Excite and our startup student, Sigma 3D Maker, engaged very comprehensively for the project. Okay, until it's ended on the 14th of April. And then we were actually one day, UTM Excite and Sigma 3D Maker has become a supplier for a lot of face shield design, and also not only for UTM face shield project but also for KPJ. Okay, and not to forget, under UTM Excite we also have Nescafe UTM, as I mentioned just now, where we had a program Make the Best of Ramadan, and we do it every year. Okay, so maybe some of you might be asking what happened to the classes. Okay, because a lot of these classes should be doing entrepreneurship activities. Okay, no, don't worry about that, because we come out with a new business model where the students in the class who actually require to do businesses, for them is no longer to actually go and do activities which they require them to go out from their house. What they do is just to understand and to become expert in digital content, and we provide them with online business dropship mentoring program. You can see many of the collaboration, our collaboration with dropship suppliers, including two of our spin-off company, The Max and Natural Kiss. Okay, so this is currently running in UTM now until the first week of July. Okay, so even with RMO, we must find opportunity. With the crisis, we must find opportunity to make sure that entrepreneurship is always there, and we can actually do a lot of activities with students. And these are a few of our partners. There are so many more, but I just listed down a few of our partners here. Okay. All right. So not to forget, some students may be asking about funding opportunities. Okay, we have been doing. We have we call it what we call collaboration with MTDC to provide microcredit, and here is a good opportunity for you to actually apply microcredit worth up to 3,000 ringgit maximum and minimum of 500. So we have been running it, and no interest. This is a zero interest loan. Okay. For you to grow your business, and stay tuned, because we will have another microcredit program. Okay, working closely with UTM Endowment. Okay, this is where point number one, like what Prof Zain mentioned, network is very important. Okay, because once for UTM Excite, we work closely with UTM Endowment. Now we get a new package of microcredit scheme with a maximum amount of 10,000 ringgit loan, zero interest loan. Okay, stay tuned. Okay, we will have the launching soon. All right. Okay, so just a bit on this. Okay, it's related to RACE GE 2020 activities. Okay, in order to make sure that we cover before and after graduation, UTM Excite will be coming up with UTM U Big Usahawan Bakal Graduan, U-BIG Usahawan Bakal Graduan program, where we work closely with UTM alumni and UTM iLeague. And not to forget, a very important skill set, which is a digital skill program, will also be the second program for us to make sure that you get your zero unemployment. So in this case, for those who attend this program, we expect them to become a digital entrepreneur. Okay. I don't actually know whether you have read this book or not. Okay, so this book, and do you know which year it was published? So this book was published in 1970. Okay, 1970. Okay, just a few years before I was born. And then if you see the yellow, the highlighted area there, the one I point, is mentioned the symptoms of future shock are with us now. This book can help us survive our collision with tomorrow. Okay, so what it means by the author, Mr. Toffler, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So this is very important. Why? Because it's also related to what Prof. Zain mentioned just now. The now is not what we learn. Now is about how we learn. Okay, how we become so hungry. Okay, that we will actually learn until we get whatever it is that we very important. Okay, because we know with the digital age now, the revolution is very fast. So there will be a lot of a lot of challenges in shifting one understanding of courses or one knowledge to the other. So we have to know how to learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay, so last but not least, before I finish my sharing, okay, please visit UTM Excite Facebook. Okay, UTM Excite Facebook, UTM Excite Insta, and also UTM Excite LinkedIn. Okay, for more information with regard to our programs. Okay, thank you very much. That's all from me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zaidi, for such a useful sharing. Dear all, here comes our awaiting Q&A session. All the participants, please feel free to leave your question in the chat box or the Facebook comment. Before we open to the public, dear panelists, I have two questions. In your opinion, what are the vital and critical graduate employment skills needed by the job seekers to try to resist pandemic? Robson and Dr. Zaidi, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you,
Okay,
yes. Is my voice clear?
Yeah, bro. We can hear you, bro.
Okay.
It's clear.
You want me to begin as ID? Can I?
Yes, please.
Okay. The most critical graduate skills that is sought after by employer, be it an employer or you become employer yourself or self-employed. Right. Okay. Just to put in simple way that you can remember, I would list it as 5C. The first one I've already specified to you to be a voracious learner or continuous learner. The first C is continuous learner. Let me list all the five first, and then I'll try to elaborate one after another by an example. The second one is critical thinking. The third is creativity. The fourth is communication. The fifth is collaboration and networking. I'm sure you appreciate collaboration and networking is very critical from the examples I gave to you, and especially collaboration and building a network with UTM, coming back to UTM. Because we have more than 30,000 networks, quadruple helix stakeholders with us that can help you. So like I said, we don't have enough students to give job to or to allow you to create jobs for others. We have a lot of people who can help you. Okay, let's start with the 5C, first being continuous learner. I'll give you an example. You as a graduate, one of the skills that you gain from UTM, you already have the skill that you want to unleash them. Is actually research skill. As a continuous learner in UTM, as a researcher in UTM, you always never stop learning. Because if your supervisor give you an assignment to solve a problem that wants to be solved, then you want to find a solution for, you have to avail yourself to any forms of tools, to any forms of literature until you get a solution, at least a partial solution. or at least some understanding of the problem before you solve it. So you have to avail yourself with as much information as possible. This means that you have been a continuous learner. You have to mobilize what you have learned in UTM to be able to survive outside in the real world. Say, for example, now you are struggling to find a job, but that doesn't mean that you cannot create a job yourself while waiting for a response for a job. One thing that you have gained in UTM, for example, as a researcher, is that you have done a lot of editing of your research work. So, what you may need to be thinking about, what are the things that people need at the hour? What's the need of the hour for researchers? People always say that, okay, editing is one of the very critical needs. People cannot go out to meet the supervisor, meet other people, or to interact physical face-to-face to do the research editing. So what you can do now, because of the COVID-19 challenge, you critically find an avenue where you can contribute. This is the critical thinking part. An avenue you can contribute, because searching over all the available services that other people give, you suddenly find you can actually have a gap where people have not interact face-to-face online to edit research papers. I'm just giving an example. Edit research papers, going through research papers, go to the track changes. People only give the paper to the editor, and the editor will do the rest of the things. But now you add value to it. That is the creativity part. After critical thinking, finding the gap that no other people are doing this thing, you are being creative, adding value to the new service that you are now having. All of a sudden, you are having a lot of people finding this very useful for them, because you have an interaction, live interaction online. People cannot go out. A lot of people want services, but they cannot meet the supervisor and things like that. Now you have a lot of people demanding your work. So you have to communicate your research. How do you communicate? How do you communicate your services? Now you see that, I'm not good at marketing. So what do you do that you're not good at marketing? You have to learn, right? You have to learn video editing. You have to learn how to make 3 minutes video, like the knowledge that you have learned from iLeak, to make the 3 minutes video, to pitch your way through across the world, so that people will be able to see that this is what services you are giving. Your services has added value, and more people will come. Then the communication comes along. You need to convince your peers that this is a very good opportunity. We need more people to work with us. Then you have to pitch and talk and communicate so that more people will come with you and help you, assist you with this business. Because all of a sudden you are self-employed, you want to employ other people. You become a business owner. That is communication. And from that communication, you are able to collaborate. That is not enough. You come back to UTM, get more students of UTM to participate in your project, and get SPS, for example, to work with you, because I'm offering a services to SPS. Now the collaboration and networking takes you back to UTM, because UTM has a global network. So you can see that you need to first be a continuous learner. Don't stop. And it has to be flip way. Number 2, you have to be critical. Look at the gap. What is the services gap? Number 3, you have to be creative. You have to have value proposition. Otherwise, you will be competing in red ocean. Other people are doing the same thing. You don't want to do the same thing. Number 4, you have to communicate your services in the most the best customer value proposition you can give. And number 5, you have to collaborate to make your business big and global. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Zain. How
Do you
about
like me to add a little bit?
Sure.
Okay. So, from the perspective of, from the context of entrepreneurship. All right. So, a lot of things that Prof. Zain mentioned is very, very related. It's just a matter of explaining in a different context. For example, number 1, as a continuous learner, you must understand a lot of people, they learn a lot, but they are not really understanding the level of competency or competence that they have. So once a person learn, they have this, what we call an illusion of competence. illusion of competence. It's very common to have, even for me, if I read something, I say, oh, now I know. Okay, but don't get confused learning with skill acquisition. But because it's in entrepreneurship, we cannot miss those skill. Learning and skill acquisition are two different things. Okay, learning enhance practices, but it doesn't replace it. Okay, so you must actually learn and test it, run it. Okay, like Prof Zen mentioned, go for consultation. What they call face the real issues. Do it. Okay, instead of just listening. The other one that I want to share is everyone. Either you are a businessman or you are not a businessman, you must have your own business model. Okay, I shared a few years ago regarding business model your personal business model. The personal business model is where you must identify, like what Prof Zen mentioned, a value proposition which you can offer to a specific group of people. Let's say, if you are a student, your business model will be you offer services. Okay, let's say you offer services to your lecturer. It's not the service to get money, for example, in this case, but you offer the best so that you can do the best project, the best way to solve whatever the project that the lecturer gives you. Okay, so we have a value proposition, and we also have the customer segment, which is the lecturer themselves. Okay, don't be surprised, because many people talk about business model. They only mention about business model in business per se, but in a personal life also we have business model. And in this personal business model, we must learn to validate our assumption. For example, we have a lot of assumption. In Johor, when I first came in Johor, people will always say, betul, quote, the word quote is like, yalah, maybe betul atau tak. So in this case, I was like, okay, can you please remove the quote so that we get the right answer? For example, let's say if I'm talking to my student, asking them, the first thing I come to my student and ask in class is whether, okay, in my entrepreneurship class, I never ask whether you want to become an entrepreneur or not. First, I ask them whether they know what they want to become from their program. Okay, so based on my previous, just recent this semester, out of 37 students that I asked, okay, it's very vague answer that I received. Okay, so when I ask them, they don't actually know what they want to become. Okay, so it's very, very important to actually know what you want to become through the prospect. For example, the prospect of customer segment that you can actually map in your personal business model. Okay, so again, number one is you learn, but make sure you don't confuse learning with skill acquisition. Number two, everyone must have their own personal business model. Number three, all the assumption that you have, it's common to have assumption. We call it hypothesis in research. Okay, so that it looks nicer. Okay, it's common to have assumption, but it's very, very important for you to get validated. Try to get some of the assumption answered. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Zaidi. To sum up, which is we must have critical thinking, we must find the gap, we have to keep learning, practice it, build on business model, and use the opportunities in UTM very well. Wow, such a very useful tips shared by our panels. So, panels, we received a question from our Facebook from Kabiru Usman. He asking, what do we do when it gets very challenging to get employed after spending much of time making so many job applications? How do you think about this?
Dr. Zaidi, you want to start
Okay.
this time?
Let me
Okay.
take
Right.
Mr.
After you.
Okay, Mr. Kabiru, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so after trying many times, sending your resume here and there, no response and so on. So one of the things that everyone actually has their own skills. They have their skills. There's no such thing as graduating without any skill set. Okay, there's no such thing. Especially if you graduate from UTM, it's impossible. It's impossible. Because UTM is very, very, very active, especially if you are engaged with so many friends. Okay, so first thing that I want to share, when we call it what they call bird in hand principle. Bird in hand principle. So whatever skill set that you have while waiting to be employed, okay, while waiting for a job interview or job offer, okay, you should be able to map your skill set towards any kind of opportunity that you can see. Okay, so this opportunity again, it's like it's like a door, you know. The opportunity is always like a door. So either you open it or you wait other people to open for you. But if you have a lot of network, if you have a lot of network, like what Prof. Zen mentioned, it goes back to the fundamental. If you have a lot of network, we can what they call the skills will may be useful to some segment, because the more network you have, the bigger addressable market that you have. Okay, of course, your skill set may be useful for a specific area, but a bigger network, that means a bigger addressable market, you can actually get your voice heard. Your voice heard, that means your value will be heard by someone who is actually asking for it. Okay, so this is actually the principle of how Google Ads, okay, or the digital marketing do. Okay, so this is what they actually do, because if you know, it's very very crowded in the internet space. Is very crowded. There are thousands and thousands and millions of domain name. There are so many hundreds and hundreds of account of Facebook and so on. But if you know how to make sure that you can shout, okay, through the list of network, or in this case through the list of friends you have, either in LinkedIn, either in your FB group, or and so on, you will be heard. Okay, but that kind of skill set, okay, that you have, you must actually add what we call copywriting. Okay, the copywriting is way how you actually write about yourself, how you actually sell yourself, how you actually tell people about the knowledge that you have, and what kind of value that you can solve through your skill set. So I like to recommend you to have a lot of portfolios. Okay, keep your portfolios. I know that UTMI League has CV, video CV, and UTM Career Center also always propose on having what they call portfolio of projects, compile it, okay, so that people know what they call you have the value to offer to customers, to client. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Zaidi and Wen Chin. Allow me to chip in a few things that I think is important. What would you do if you do not get a job and you haven't tried so many times, so many employers and all this? I will get back to my first proposal when I started. That is to come back to UTM, to come back to iLeague and find Excite. Again, like I said, we don't have enough students to give jobs to. We have more than enough. Here we have 30,000 networks across the world who would be able to help you. And with 30,000 against 3,000, the odds is of getting a job is higher.
Right.
Yeah, of getting a job, the possibility or likelihood of getting a job is 10 times maybe. That is one thing. Number two, what I would like to advise you not to do is actually choose a job. You might be a chemical engineer, a mechanical engineer, but be prepared to be a research editor, for example, while you are waiting for a job, and you never know. You don't want to be a chemical engineer 6 months down the line because you think that you are going to be filthy rich being a research editor. Why? Because all of a sudden you find a fortune of being a research editor, and you find your callings of being a research editor because you're a very critical person, you're good at writing. Actually, I don't want to be a chemical engineer because a chemical engineer is a poor engineer. So don't choose a job. Okay, there is nothing wrong in social science going to engineering, because I think last week I gave a talk about how we shape and engineer revolution in education. I gave an example of a social science and English major leading corporate com and explaining to customer about how refinery works, taking a tour for technical engineers on explaining how a refinery process works along the supply chain. So don't choose what you need to do. Again, don't choose your career. Don't be choosy. Choose your career, okay, but not be too choosy about your career because you don't have too much to choose from now. Okay, so don't be too choosy. And the other thing, be prepared. The third one is to be prepared to work for free first, or almost free first. How do we work for almost free or for free first? Like I said earlier, we at UTM will be able to get you a very good employer, but they won't be ready to pay you much. Why? Because they have a lot of demand. They are only relying on UTM network. That UTM is a good supporter for you. UTM strongly recommend you. They want to trust UTM, but they don't want to actually gamble on you first. Why not? They said you try and be an intern for 3 months, and for that, I must say that you must be able to be prepared to work for free because we are going to get you help so that you will be a great engineer in this company by us working with this company, doing research with this company, solve their problem. Because if I am the supervisor, I'm going to help my student get a job, but solve exactly what the company needs. What is the need of the company of the hour, and you will be working with me and with the company. But now, don't ask for 3,000 ringgit salary because you said you are CPA of 3.90. You need a 3,000 ringgit salary because other people who is 3.90 has a 3,000 ringgit salary. Maybe it's about 1,000 as an intern for 3 months, and we solve their problem. You will be surprised. Maybe after 6 months, you will get a managerial research manager position. Why? Because we are quite confident what we can do to help the industry with our R&D, and you being the intermediaries to do the job for the industry to solve industrial problem. Remember, don't be too choosy. Be prepared to work for free. And what was the first one I was saying to you? Don't you be prepared to also create opportunity and create jobs for yourself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zaidi and Prof. Zain. Prof. Zain, regarding this internship problem, I have a question from Facebook from Mohammed Arab. I think he's an international student. He thinks that international students face a lot of challenges for getting industrial training. So how can you help them to get this industrial training easily?
Well, thank you very much, Muhammad. Thankfully, I guess through preparation, it made this opportunity all of a sudden available for you, because I was informed by Prof. Shafri, the chair of UTM I-League. It happened to be that yesterday or a couple of days ago, they managed to discuss with Talent Corp of Malaysia, to address the challenges of international students on ASEAN-wide placement for industrial training, especially for international students and local students. International students may be at the disadvantage to get a job, so they are more urgent to getting a job, industrial training placement than local students. Maybe local students, due to the language and nationality, they are in a better position to get a job. But through Talent Corp and Talent Corp's network across ASEAN, we have addressed this issue. And if we have any issue, again, look back to one. One is be traceable by UTM. Go back to UTM. UTM here in this case is actually UTM I-League, UTM CC. They have discussed with Talent Corp yesterday. They are ready to get international students through international industrial training placement. International industrial training placement. There is a few organizations that can give industrial training placement through Talent Corp, and especially for international students.
Thank you, Prof. Zain. yes, UTM is our home. You can get the great opportunities there. So the next question also come from our Facebook comment from Noah Amira Kairina. She asked, among the many activities in UTM, which one she should join to get a better chance to be employed because of the limited time we have before our graduation? So maybe we can have Prof. Zaidi elaborate first.
Miss Amira, thank you for the question. Okay, so I think my answer can also be applied to employment. As far as I know, a lot of programs, particularly, let's say if I put from the perspective of UTMX side, a lot of programs which we conduct, the programs is innovation and entrepreneurship. But you must understand, it's not only about designing people to become entrepreneur. That will be the best that we want. Okay, but the other part is actually to become entrepreneurial. So in a lot of programs, for example, Startup Weekend, YSEALI with US Embassy, we also conduct program with MTDC and so on. It's all about how you actually train yourself to have different perspectives. Okay, so these kind of different perspectives, particularly in program which we embed inside the programs, are like design thinking. Okay, design thinking, the business modeling, okay, the lean canvassing, computational thinking. All these are the kind of thinking that will help you to advance further, and it is actually also will be contributing to the value, the what they call, provide a higher value in your project, in your class project. Okay, so because as what they call, as to understand more about your work or your task, we need design thinking. We need to become very empathic on the kind of issues from the perspective of the person who have the problem. So if let's say you are given a project in class, of course, maybe you mentioned there's not much time to prepare before graduation. So the best thing to do is to prepare from day one. When you enter, let's say you enter for master or bachelor degree, start going into understanding real issues that being taught. Let's say your lecturer is talking about issues of, let's say like, I'm from computing, now I'm in business school. Let's say the issue is related to what you call, maybe the use of one particular device for the whole students. Okay, but we cannot just look at the device and just generally say that it can be used for everyone. Okay, it's very what they call naive to say that. So we need to find the best value proposition, or we call it features, advantage, and benefit for that specific device that you wanted to do or develop, and identify the target customer. So the target customer may not be the whole student. The target customer may be only international student. For example, like our friend just now, if you can come out with a program for a specific group of students, international students who wants to get employed in not in their country, maybe in Asian country. Okay, you actually you have identified one very important segment. Okay, so these are the things that normally we provide in our programs in UTMX side. Design thinking, we have business modeling, we have the digital marketing and so on. So the most important thing afterwards is to try to connect the dots. So this is where we have mentor, and mentor didn't come only from staff. We have mentor coming from industry. We have mentor who are very successful, what they call entrepreneur. We have our alumni who are very successful entrepreneur also. They come and they share their experience and so on. And there are many more programs. For example, ISEC program. I'm the advisor for ISEC. So I see a lot of programs where until now I couldn't see any ISECers which I know unemployed. Okay, they are really very hot stuff. Okay, we must be very hot. Okay, so that people see, oh, they just grab us. Okay, so this is where the journey that you make throughout the years of study is very important. It's not only at the end of your semester then you start, what should I do? No, you don't do that. You have to think earlier. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Dr. Zaki.
I can chip in with just one answer, one response. Yeah? With all the knowledge and skills that you have equipped yourself from iLeague, UTMCC, and UTM side, now you should be prepared to do one other thing, the last thing, which is jump into the pool. Really, to jump into the pool is the next thing to do because you do not have much time left. You are going to graduate, and don't worry, we have a lifesaver for you. UTM will be your lifesaver at the deep end of the pool. You jump you must. What we do for you to jump into the pool is actually to promote yourself to industry that this is our graduates, they are ready to go to industry, and you can give them, if you do not have a job yet, we are ready to help you solve your problem, do the industrial training according to the scheme that I proposed earlier, University Industry Innovation Exchange, UNIX. We solve industrial problem with the research skills that you have. Yeah, now you have to harness the 5C, and you have to be in the pool, harness the 5C and prove yourself. But I'll be there looking for you in the industry for the next 6 months. You don't have any other choice but to really sail and soar high. If this is what you do, jump you must, soar high, and harness and mobilize your skill that you have learned to excite and all this, I think you will be successful. Don't worry about it, you will be successful. And for industry, it's nothing more that they want to ask. Yeah, not 3,000 ringgit salary, 1,000 allowance, okay. Now you are giving me value, solve your problem. We discuss what problem you have. For example, the problem that you have is actually optimizing human resource management. I'm not talking about engineering students. I'm talking about non-engineering students now to optimize human resource management, because I've been talking with people from the bankers, you see. Bankers say, okay, this is a great proposal because industrial training, normally we have people who just come to the industry and expect what industry can teach them and run around, chase around wanting to learn from industry. We don't have time to teach them. But when you propose to industry, we have time to solve your problem. Now let us discuss what is the issue of the hour that you need solved. Human resource optimization. Okay, our graduate can solve you the problem, but what you need to do, maybe not give them a job yet. A trial period is just like Alibaba give free, Muda give free first. Of our graduates, I'm putting my neck on the line for you, but you must jump into the pool and try to not sink and swim. Yeah? If you haven't swim throughout your life, you need to swim this time. So basically, always when we put our situation, our students in that situation, they actually soar high, they survive, and they do very well in the industry. And when it is at the end of your graduation, the company, if I were the company, I said, can you have 10 more people like this for my company? This is not enough. This is just one. COVID or no COVID, they need people like that for survival of the company. Trust me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prof and Doctor, for your encouragement and the guidance. Next, the question comes from the WebEx, Kanya Jogulu. He's asking, what are the biggest challenges faced by the faculties in getting the undergrads to participate in students' development programs? Although we have so much, but how we want to engage? We want to make sure the students engage with the programs, and what are the challenges faced? We may invite...
To you, Dr. Zaidi, first. Excite, I think, having a lot of challenges. Yeah.
Okay, let me answer. All right. So one thing is about time management. Okay, time management. So if you can, I think it's very important if you can go to our FB website, Facebook, UTMX at Facebook, and we had our talk to which were delivered by our what they call recipient, Chancellor Award recipient, last convocation. Okay, Mr. Awid Ibadne. So he actually mentioned about time management, and then how we actually get to the discipline. Okay, because as far as I know, when from UTM Excite experience, if we actually offer programs for free, for example, let's say we offer for free, we offer it and then we ask people to actually fill up form. We have full. Let's say we offer for 60. We actually have one program we call Wealth Creation Lab. It's actually 3 days, 2 nights in hotel. Okay, 60 packs all fill up form, but when we actually ask them to come for the real day, I think we only have like 40 or 35. So it's actually a waste. And what reasons or what actually excuses? Okay, I normally call it excuses by students is like, oh, I have some assignment to do. I have some assignment here and there to do. Okay, I actually told them directly. This is actually one advice that I get from my mentor. My mentor is actually from Monash. He graduated from Monash University, top dean's list every semester. Okay, and he actually now a very successful entrepreneur. He didn't go for work. He's actually electronic. He didn't go for work. I mean, he worked just for a few years, but he actually become entrepreneur now. Very very successful. He always tell me, everyone is very busy. Okay, everyone also only have 24 hours. But if you have something that can develop you through networking, through socializing, through ideas which you couldn't get while sitting, go for it. Then do your assignment while you are alone. Okay, so in this case, we have our night time where, of course, you have to push yourself. I don't think, if you skip, frankly speaking, like me, if I always skip, but it's not a good advice to skip sleep. But if let's say you manage to, you had to actually not to skip, like maybe 1 or 2 hours, one night or 2 nights, it's still okay. Okay, as long as you complete your work which are required by your professor, which you can do it alone with your friend in the circle at night, and the rest you do the programs with, for example, with UTM Excite, with the college Kediaman, the colleges, and they have a lot of programs with HEP and so on. Because if you don't go for it, it's not about not getting the answer. Okay, it's all about perception. Once you get the perception right, you get the what they call the culture right, you get the connection right. I guess somebody will actually open up your door, because you need just someone to actually, or some event to actually give you the, like what Prof Z mentioned, jump, directly go for it. It's not like many people will actually like whether I want to do or not, what to do or not. That's actually the difference between entrepreneur and not lah. So if you have the entrepreneurial mindset, jump to program, to do it. I believe you will get a lot of benefit. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zaidi.
On my side, I would share that what we are doing now through Institute of Life Ready Graduate is to prepare graduates to be life ready and to have a mindset to be life ready. Yeah, life ready is not just you ready for your future life, but you are ready to prosper other people's life together with UTM. Again, come back to UTM. So I would like to emphasize here that if you look at program outcomes for any of UTM programs, the contents of 11 program outcomes, for example, only 1 or 2 or 3 would emphasize on your technical skills or technical content skills. You agree or disagree? So very few, yeah, or only 10% would ask you or would expect you to have a in-depth and excellent, outstanding knowledge of chemical engineering. For all you know, next 5 years, yeah, what you learn may not be relevant anymore. 85% of jobs in the 2030 is not created yet. You are learning only 10%, and the other 90% you don't know yet. So why you focus on the very deep knowledge-based thing that you are going to not use anyway? focus on the 90% and you can be better. Why? Because especially on the 90%, the top skills that I have specified is actually ability to learn. You can learn chemical engineering later, or you can learn this like the English major who learn about how to describe process of refinery, yeah, to the T, and you can do better than them, perhaps, yeah. So life-ready graduates in the future, what they are going to master, they call it this T-shaped skill. The T is actually the deep knowledge, maybe not too much, but the broad knowledge, the soft or generic skill is the one that, the 5C that I mentioned earlier, the one that makes you survive. Because if you're creative, you can create job. You don't choose the job that you want. You don't be choosy about the jobs that you want to go into, but to look critically about what are the need of the hour that you can create, yeah, based on the skills that you have learned and give value to the community. That is most important thing that will prevail in the future. And life-ready graduates, remember, they might not be the A students. They might be the C students. But if you ask me, why do A students work for the C students and B students work for the government? It is because of that. The A students are not life ready. The C students are life ready. So hundreds of A students will work for the CEO, which is a C student, who prepared themselves to be life ready and for the next 20 to 30 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Zane. Since we have limited time, so we just left 3 questions open to the audience. So the last 3 questions from the Facebook Club Requesty KTR. They're asking Prof to elaborate more on how UTM work together with other industry to ensure zero unemployment rate.
Yeah, I think I have elaborated a few times that, like the strategy of Muda or Alibaba. The strategy of Alibaba, if you go through the book by Jack Ma, yeah, Alibaba actually has a emphasize on zero cost business model for the first 3 years of their survival. And after that first 3 years, they become a global phenomena. The first 3 years, they outstrip or they surpass, yeah, many of the retailers, online retailers. Why? Because Alibaba provides value for money, or in fact, no value, no money for value. The first 3 years, Muda copied, yeah, Alibaba's business model, and we can do the same thing. But I'm not being too cheap when I bring my students to industry and to us industry to work with us, and we propose this University Industry Innovation Exchange program for you industry. Why? Because if other universities come to you with their industrial training students and let you worry about what to give to industrial training students, UTM is not doing that. UTM let us worry about how to solve your problem. And we can cater, yeah? We have 30,000 industries network with us, or universities. If it's a university network, then university in Indonesia have industry as well. So we work with universities. We have done this before. In Padang, for example, where there are clusters of industry, there is a network to this university in Padang. Okay? So we send our student over there. It happens to be they have some preference for Indonesia. We don't have any problem because we have many, we are spoiled for choice. So we can send our students, yeah, and the students, the quality, I said, if you want to work with a unique program, Unix program, you must not be too choosy. You must be willing to jump to the deep end of the pool, and you must be, yeah, brave and able to contribute and harness all your research skill. The research skill is vital, yeah? Even though you think it's for producing paper is not worth the paper they are printed on. So paper is actually the critical part, the critical and creativity thinking part is on the paper itself. So you better mobilize, better harness the critical thinking and the creativity part on the paper that you have produced. To work with industry, be ready to work with industry. And we have many industries we have discussed with you before, and I've shown you many of the students, be it they are undergraduate or postgraduate, are very happy. And in the end, Yeah, even though we did this during the middle of the semester, the industry called back the students because many of the students, for example, even we thought it was mundane. It was a very simple development of spreadsheet to optimize, for example, the runaway temperature of Syntoma PLC, Syntoma PLC. We thought it was a straightforward calculator. The industry appreciate that because they solve their problem. They solve their issue. So don't think that solving industrial problem is going to get you a PhD. No, it's just a PSM work, Project Sarjana Muda. That's all. But industry thinks it's a PhD. So for those who are out there in the industry, I've been in from industry as well. Doesn't matter what Prof. Zain said, but as long as it solve our problem, that matters to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any add-on from Dr. Zaidi? Dr. Zaidi?
Okay. So no, not from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we move to the second last question from Hafiz Faizal. He asked, being a job creator is one of the way to solve unemployment issue. So how to change the student's mindset from a job seeker to a job creator?
Prof, I try to answer
Okay.
this.
This is your domain, Prof. Zaidi.
All right. So Hafiz Faizal, HM. So the question comes from Hafiz Faizal. He's actually an entrepreneur. Okay. So the question, how to change the mindset from job seeker to job creator. Okay. So you must experience. So the best way to experience offering job or offering services to people is in university. For example, university is the best living laboratory for everyone. Okay, so I actually put in my even in my website my first few phrases. You will lose a lot if you don't actually leverage the time you have in university. For example, for me myself, I was 5 years late entering university. I took my STPM, I work and so on. So when I enter university, I already have my business. I already started business. But when I enter, I was like, so surprised to see people or students who are targeting to work. Okay, targeting to work. At that time, we were like many students were actually focusing on what kind of work I want to go, what kind of work I want to get. One of my friend, he said he wants to go for Slumberjay and so on. Okay, very good pay, I know. That was 30 years ago. But if we look at the experience that we get through programs, okay, particularly if you do it in UTM side, we will give you the what they call the role as service provider. So that means you have to give service. You have to feel like you are providing service as an entrepreneur. So when you provide service, you actually provide job. Okay, it's not the other way around. You're waiting for people to ask you to actually service to them, but you actually have to think of an idea or some way or the other to think innovatively and creatively, push your mind so hard so that your mindset will click, so that you will provide jobs or in this case services. Start small. Okay, start small. I know, I heard some of my lecturer friend mention, oh, these kids, these students, they are just what they call doing small business. It won't work. I say, of course, the student must think big, but everything starts with the first step. Okay, so the students, because entrepreneurship or job creator mindset, the job that is created comes in different shape, so many kind of shapes and sizes. Okay, so some people like to go directly to the something so big, but you must understand, if you go big, the stakes are high, you have high risk, and you will fail, and later on you will say bye-bye. It's not about just joining as a job creator. The mindset is not just job creator only. When you become an entrepreneur, create job, you may fail, but you will actually revive again stand up again and start all over again. That is actually more important than just open up and then later on when you fail you don't come back again, you don't come to become entrepreneur. So I like to advise, start small, do something which you have the what they call skills that you develop. You identify, like Prof Zen already mentioned just now, who are the people who needs it. You cannot sit in the cocoon just wait for people to tell that they need service. You have to identify what kind of services that are available. Okay, then you provide. Okay, so start small and then fail fast. Fail fast. I mean, it doesn't matter you fail because it's part of learning, particularly in this campus, in the campus life. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Zaidi. Any add-on from Prof. Zaid? If no, we move to the last question.
I can share a bit, Wenjin, if you allow me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would agree completely with Dr. Ramesh, and that's the easiest way to answer a question, by the way. Plus the fact that, I would also emphasize on the fact that supervisors of students and students themselves just need to complete 30% more of what they have already in terms of being entrepreneurial. You see, through research process, you are already 50% there. Why I say that? Every student in UTM has a research process, correct? There is not a student that without a research process, had not gone through a research process. If you have gone through a research process, it means that you are 50% there. That is why I said in the very beginning, you have to unleash the talent that you have being nurtured in UTM. What are the 50% research process or being an entrepreneurial person entails? First is actually critical thinking, because you need to search for gaps in technology, gaps in terms of state of the art. You need to do something different. That is the easiest way to put it. Not something that other people have done, or at least from the application part in Malaysia, it's not been done. That's number one. Number two, you need to propose value. Yeah, even though it's theoretically possible, but theoretical is solvable, and from the theory is different. But how do you get it to the customer? That is the other parts of research process that you have to actually, with your supervisor, make it a reality. And number three, you have to communicate. You also communicate right through your presentation. That is part of research process, and being entrepreneurial is all about. Communicate. But you need to communicate so that your father will understand you, for example, or your grandmother will be able to understand you, not just your colleagues or your supervisor will be able to understand you. Make it easy. Yeah? If it's not easy, you don't understand them. If you cannot make it easy, it means that you don't understand them yourself. Okay? And finally, you'll be able to commercialize them. Yeah? That is the other 30%. I'm not saying you will be able to package until it becomes a product that can sellable and make you filthy rich. No. But at least the 80% part makes you an entrepreneurial person. Just push a bit more. The supervisor also push a bit more, so that the student really have an entrepreneurial mindset, so that they will bring their product to the community and think more about the customer, what the customer wants, rather than what the paperwork wants, what the citation wants. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Zain. Here is the last question of our forum today from the WebEx. The question is, what kind of jobs are among the highly demanded during the anticipated recession after COVID-19? Will our disciplines be still in demand and relevant?
Dr. Zaidi, you want to have a go at that?
Okay, I mention a bit from entrepreneurship perspective, but he or she was asking on whether his or her discipline. I don't actually know his or her discipline. So anyway, when we look at the scenario now, since day one of COVID-19 until after COVID, I don't know whether we have post-COVID or not, because COVID is keep on will be our life. Okay, so what I can see, a lot of things related to digitalization is taking place. Okay, so organization are now, if you even today, the newspaper talk about guru COVID. COVID is actually COVID-19 is actually a guru. You imagine COVID-19 as a guru is teaching us lesson throughout the first day until now. Still every day we learn, okay, and we learn it in the hard way. Okay, if we don't have this hard way, we won't be able to actually move forward into, for example, digitalization and so on. So for example, the key things that I found, particularly in entrepreneurship, okay, is, for example, online gaming, online devices, online apparatus. These are all the things that are very highly demanding now. Food is always very demanding, but there are a lot of flows in the delivery logistics, because logistics still, we don't have teleport like in Star Wars. Okay, so logistics still very traditional. They try to become very efficient, but it's still very traditional. Okay, so if there are best way of sorting, packaging, delivering, okay, what they call providing online services, gaming, apparatus for uh, online education, not to forget, that is very strong now. And even ourselves in UTM, we were the first university to start. Prof Zain actually made decision, okay, 1st April to start, and it's actually a very good point, because we know that we will be, what they call, trying to get an equilibrium on doing digital and so on. So as I mentioned just now, from entrepreneurship or business perspective, anything regarding online is very hot now. Okay, and you can see a lot of people, if you Google, you go to Google Trend, you can see a lot of people talking about digital transformation, digitalization. You can see how many respond, or how many appearance frequency it has been created. Okay, and also in online learning, you can see a lot of online learning like EDX, Udemy, and also Coursera. You can see the number of courses regarding digitalization has grown so fast. Okay, so people go into that because, particularly on people who are doing, for example, management, human research, and so on, even engineers, computer scientists, and so on, they will need to go and understand how digitalization works. Okay, so again, I don't really know what is your discipline, but an overview of what is the opportunity happening from the point of view of business or entrepreneurship is there. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Zaki.
Okay, thank you.
Razi?
Yeah. Again, I would encourage you to be super hungry, voracious, yeah, about the need to learn. And one of the things I do agree 100% with Dr. Zaidi is actually digital skills would be very highly in demand. You know, the digital skills can be the icing on the cake of your skills now, because everything that people would need to do now is not by face to face, at least for the next 6 months. So if you are good in terms of doing research, I gave an example earlier that you might be able to do research editing, research paper editing, and give consultation. Yeah. So, but then again, you need to have the digital skill to top up your research skills and writing skills and research scientific skills and consultation and communication skills. But the digital skills will be the game changer. Why? Because you'll be able to access, yeah, limitless number of people by having that digital skills. Come back to UTM again, because we will be able to put you on a reskilling process. Yeah, be prepared to work for free and be prepared to learn before you work as well. Don't be too rushed to jump into the the working world when you are not ready yet and not getting a job. You try again, but come back to UTM while seeking for a job. Yeah, try to explore your talents, what you can be, what you will be able to do, and your creativity as well. And don't limit yourself to your single discipline, your only discipline. You can venture into areas that will be boundless and limitless based on your skills, plus digital skills and communication skills as well. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Zain and Dr. Zaidi, for your last piece of advice. It's indeed a pleasure to have panels and all the participants. I hope everyone learned the tips and tricks shared by our panels and start to prepare ourselves for the post-COVID-19 looming crisis by utilizing UTM facilities well. So let's go back to UTM. We could make a change if we take a step now. So before we end, I would like to deeply thank the UTM PGSS. I would like to thank the UTM SPS, UTM Excite, and UTM iLeague for their well collaboration. Also, thanks to our PGSS SKA and SCEE for their hard work. To all the participants, please remember to do both the registration and evaluation form as provided in the chat box or the comment to secure your e-certificate. Your attendance will be recorded in UTM Acad. And please visit the UTM iLeague, UTM Excite, UTM SPS, and UTM PGSS Facebook or page to get the upcoming online course information. Last but not least, let's have a group photo with our speaker, Prof. Zain and Dr. Zaidi today. Thank you and see you